Both Van Gogh and Picasso were foreign artists who came to Paris because Paris was the center of the art world in that time, and both were confronted with modern art, with Impressionism, and their style and their technique changed rapidly and very radically, and that's a similarity between the two artists. They've never met because Van Gogh died in 1890 and Picasso arrived in 1900, but there is certainly an interest in, Picasso certainly had an interest in Van Gogh's work in the beginning. When Van Gogh arrived in Paris, he had been painting for 5 years in the Netherlands, and there he had mostly painted landscapes, peasants, figures at work in dark colors. When he arrived in Paris, his subject matter obviously changed because he painted in the city, but also the landscapes around Montmartre, the mills, the life in the street, a lot of portraits, self-portraits, because self-portraits were cheap to paint. You only need a mirror, and the colors and the brushstrokes are completely different from his Dutch work because he was influenced by so many other artists and artworks, and he really, in a very short time, he emerged as a modern artist in Paris. I think Picasso was influenced by Van Gogh, especially by what he represented, what Van Gogh represented by for young artists in Paris at the time. He was really almost like an example to young artists. His letters had also been published, and I'm sure Picasso knew about the status Van Gogh had, and I think he wanted to. That's something that really interested him, the way Van Gogh was really seen as an example. Also, I think from the point of view of brushwork and colors, Picasso did use. I think he looked good and looked well at Van Gogh's work, and for a certain short period he experimented with similar brushstrokes, but then he moved towards other influences, and he was more close to Gauguin's work, I think. So he was more on the level of the intellectual ideas of Van Gogh and the thing he represented. Unlike other artists that Picasso looked at in the Paris period, because there were so many different influences then, he sort of took something here and there and there. Unlike artists that he shortly was influenced by, Van Gogh really remained an important figure for him all his life. And in the 1950s, for example, he talked about him a lot. He read the letters. He went to see an important Van Gogh exhibition in Arles when he was living in the south of France, and he really saw him as some kind of a, well, almost as a father of modern art for him, like Cézanne, for example. Those were two artists that he really admired and were important to him.